All right, welcome everybody to episode 12 of the RacPacShow. Here with my hosts, Chad, sporting an unfortunate hat, and Ryan. Ryan is in the house
See
as
that
well.
till now. Wow.
I've won this multiple times.
So
Best team in Chicago.
we've been a lot more active on especially on our TikTok and Instagram. I don't know whoever's seen that. If you want to show us some love there. Different kind of clips and stuff. We're just kind of seeing how things go. But anyways, we'll jump into it now. So I think the best place to get started is opening day. We talked about they're going to be meeting every day this past week. The MLBPA and stuff. So they canceled opening day. They didn't accept the MLB's offer. I heard
from both.
Yeah, I heard there's a headline that said something that said it was their last, or it was like their best and final offer, but then like in Manfred's press conference, he said that that was not the case. Like, he doesn't really believe in like a final offer. Like, there's always like negotiations and stuff on either side, even toward the end. So he didn't really know where that came from. But
Did I cover that last week? Like the negotiation part? Or did we talk about that? What a negotiation is and how they were not negotiating? Or did I talk with someone else about that?
I'm not sure.
A negotiation is you sit there at the same fucking table and you talk to each other. They're they're having Manfred run across the freaking stadium, go one side to each other doing proposals, and there's no intervention between the two sides. It's just
you see that picture?
I got this proposal. No, we don't like it. Go back over there, and then we'll call you when we're ready with our proposal.
Did you see that group picture?
What kind of negotiation is that?
That group picture of all the players, the player association. They're all it's a group picture of all of them after the negotiations, and they're all just like there's like maybe one or two people smiling. It was like the most awkwardest photo I've ever seen. I think I saw it on Twitter. I gotta find it, but like literally, like I think I saw the Trey Turner, Scherzer, the rest I couldn't really.
They were all there.
Yeah, I guess they're part of the player association because it's a whole.
Yeah, I don't even know who's part of it. I haven't even looked into.
I didn't really know most of them, but maybe because maybe if I saw if they're wearing a jersey, I just couldn't tell by their face.
Well, I know they have people who are like not just it's not just players.
Right,
like they have like other people who work in there.
But it was just like someone tweeted. It was like, yeah, like this picture of the player association after the negotiations and baseball got canceled for the first two series. But it was hilarious. But yeah, like Chad said, negotiation is. I would love to be a fly in that wall. Like, what the hell were they talking about? Like, what is it? Like, it's almost like as if they're kids. Like, they're just like, it's just, I don't know. It's
the thing. You're gonna hear two. If that's the case, you're gonna hear two total different sides, because you're gonna be sitting in the owner side and you're gonna be sitting on the player side. You're not gonna be sitting in between them, where they should be, and talking to each other. They're just talking amongst themselves. Oh, we could get this. No. Push for this.
We touched on it last week. It's just like frustrating that they can't get anything going. It was like, oh, the MLB's giving them their best offer here, and it was like unanimously voted against by the MLBPA. Like, they're still after think about how long they were together, right? A week of meeting every single day, hashing this stuff out, and it's not like it's something new. Like, this is stuff they've been going through for the past couple weeks or whatever, because what Chad said last week was like they started the lockout and they didn't meet at all for for first couple weeks or whatever. So it's frustrating that they just can't. I felt like some progress was maybe made though. Like I felt like, I don't know what it was, but it just felt like they were agreeing to more stuff maybe, but it's just annoying, man. That MLB is so annoying. Rob Manfred is got to be the worst commissioner in sports history. I swear. I can't think. We
need someone else like Joe Torre.
That guy's terrible. He's
like a player person. He's good with the players.
You think we should get somebody younger? Or?
I don't know. I don't care how old they are. I just want
them to really matter. I just need them to have a good relationship with the players.
Yeah,
I think that's what it needs to come down to.
like a 30, 40
I
year old
mean,
kind of guy.
well, Theo could be a good one.
Theo would be a great commissioner.
That would be very interesting
Theo
to
would be a
see.
great commissioner.
But
I don't think he's. I bet you he doesn't really have any
That's
interest in
something.
that. Like
That's
I
something
don't
down
know.
the
It
line. I
seems
feel
like
like.
it'd be too like. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like really. It's like something he would do. I mean, I don't know the guy personally, obviously, but
Well, that's
just like the
another
vibe I
thing.
get from him.
Manfred's getting paid like 11 mil a year until 2024. So stuff with that is like his contract should be like on like the player side. So if the MLB does have a lockout, he ain't getting paid.
Mhm.
I'm sure he's still getting paid through all this. I mean, I might be wrong, but
Mhm.
I think he needs to have something. His
I mean,
contract
he's
needs
doing his
something to do with
job,
the
right? Right now.
players.
Like this is
To
technically his job, what he's doing right now. So obviously he's getting paid
yeah,
for it.
but it's like you're the, if you're the commissioner of baseball and you're the fans, players, whoever else is speaking up and booing you all the time, and tweeting at you or whatever, saying shit about you, like something needs to change. Either step down or like get your act together, meet with the players, talk to them what's wrong, get a relationship with them, and work on it. And maybe he has, but
I mean, the problem is
obviously the
like
players are that much pissed, more pissed off at him that he hasn't done shit.
I mean, like where we stand right now is like the problem with that is like, oh, build a relationship with the players. It seems like we're past that. Like it's how long has he been the commissioner? How long has he had, time to, develop a better relationship with the players and of had he done that, had like that been a point of emphasis for him when he took the position, we probably wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be in this mess. They'd be more on the same page. Like it's just baffling to me, like how how long had they been doing these negotiations for. Like I get baseball's a huge one of the it's sports, it's a huge business, but like to come away from all these meetings over the countless number of weeks and the best offer the MLB has to date is unanimously declined by the PA is like kind of speaks volumes.
Like the owners are obviously in their stage of like an old style, like they want it run that way. They make it's a business
Mhm.
for them.
Right.
But in our, modern day era, people want, the more money, the more benefits, the more stuff like this because they're in the end they're the ones doing the work. And I understand the player's point of view and all that stuff. So obviously I'm not against what they're asking for. And they're not in the wrong for what they're asking for. I mean, it's their bodies, it's their careers, it's their families and stuff like that. They've worked their entire life to get where they are and get paid for what they should be getting paid. In the end, baseball just it makes a lot of money, and owners are just taking a little too much of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like just to look at this is trying to find the offer stuff for this. I know the players asked for the salary. Oh, here it was.
The
Okay,
minimum
so
salary.
the MLB's final offer. I don't really understand what the CBT thresholds mean, like those numbers. I don't really totally understand what that means, but like a $5 million increase on the pre-arbitration bonus pool from 25 million to 30 million, and the MLBPA's previous offer was pre-arbitration bonus pool at 85 million with $5 million annual increases. So they're still what 50 million off that. The only nice thing was like the minimum contracts were the MLB offered to 700K from 675. So 700K moving up 10,000 a year, and the MLBPA's offer was 725 going up 20K a year. So they're at least, that's the one where they're getting kind of close.
Well, they
I
were really far on that one too, though. The owners were at 600 grand to start,
mhm.
and they upped it to 615.
And that kind of goes into
I didn't know there was an increase, though.
that
That's
kind of
interesting.
goes into what I was saying is like even though like I know we came out of it and unanimous decline, I felt like some progress was made just looking at those numbers. Like only 25,000 off of the minimum salary, which I know $25,000 is a lot of money in retrospect, but and then the 10K a year moving up, like maybe they can meet at the middle on that. Maybe they get it to like maybe the MLBPA would accept something like 710, 715, going up 15K a year, maybe. Maybe they can get there. I don't know.
I mean, hey, accepting 700
It's out of
grand
my
is not.
outside
That
of
is
my
actually a big
expertise.
win for the players because of what it was at and what the owners were at and what they're at now. So I mean, that's. I mean, I feel like they're fine with that. Now they're just trying to fight for those other like 4 main points that they were trying to get at, which was like international signing pools and stuff like that, which
Yeah,
they were kind of far off on, as far as I know, and what you just stated.
There's a lot that needs to be done
yeah,
still.
and it's so there are plans for an informal one-on-one meeting between MLB's Dan Halem and MLBPA's Bruce Meyer, lead negotiators for both parties. The first between the two sides since the league's canceled. It will take place on Tuesday afternoon. So an informal meeting will take place Tuesday afternoon. So that's what March here.
March 8th, I think.
Yeah, March 8th.
8th?
March 8th will be the next day they talk, basically. Because it says informal, so it's not like this is going to be like, getting down to business. I think Thursday, I heard, was the nearest day for them to, like, actually start meeting and stuff, so.
Yeah, I don't see much of anything happening until like April.
And then I think they canceled opening day. I think they canceled the first two series, right?
2
Yeah,
series,
the
yeah.
first two
First 2 series.
series.
So that's what, 8 games already? 8, 7, it's 6 to 8
6
games.
to 8.
6 to
Yeah.
8 games.
All I know is
So
going up to March.
we'll say we're already at 168 or 150. We'll say 150 game season we're sitting at right now, around there. Obviously it's a little bit more
But
than that.
the thing with that though is if they did get something done within the next couple weeks, there was talks of still having a full season just with doubleheaders.
Yeah, which I mean is
So
what.
you would have 7-inning games on Saturdays and other days and stuff like that.
Well, I was watching the press conference of Rob Manfred, and someone asked like why cancel the games instead of rescheduling it, and he basically just said because of all the games that they've rescheduled with the interleague play and all that. He goes, we're not rescheduling it. Those games are canceled. They will not be made up. So it's not. And I. He seemed pretty firm when he said that, so I don't see that happening. So
Well, that's a stupid remark because how can you reschedule shit when shit wasn't even canceled?
yep. Hey,
I mean,
That makes no
dude,
sense.
if we can get, so
120.
if we're sitting here at around 150, right? We'll say we'll
120.
just say that's where we're at right now, 150. Yeah, I mean 120 to me is like the minimum. Like I would prefer, like, man, if we could just get 140 at least, like, because some of those numbers that I just read, they didn't seem that far off. Like, granted, I don't know what I'm sure the middle one was the 85 million to 30 million is big difference still, but
And that's
here's
stuff
my
that can be
thing.
worked on.
Here's my thing. If this is such like a urgent matter or whatever, they were meeting every day this past week. Why not meet every day this coming week? Why all of a sudden is it Tuesday you're having an informal talk and then Thursday's the next day you can get together? Like,
It probably
keep
won't.
meeting.
They won't have meetings until the owners start talking
Get
about
their head out
canceling
of
more
their
games.
ass.
No, just like if they're like, oh, but they'll have another deadline of middle of March or the 20th of March or something. Where if we don't get something done by then we're canceling like the first month of the season
Well,
kind of thing.
I was listening to when I was once again the press conference. Someone was like, so because I guess the last 3 days going up to that day, were like the talks were getting heated. Like as far as like shit was getting done.
That's what I
So
was hearing.
yeah, so someone's like, so well, yeah, like you said, what were you guys doing prior to that time? Where all of a sudden, because now you got a deadline, talks are getting heated now, and like stuff's starting to flow and stuff like that. So you need a deadline to get shit going. Like, you guys are professionals, supposed to be, and getting shit getting the season done, started and everything like that. And then, what, you guys lollygagging the whole time, and then all of a sudden a date comes out where a deadline, and all of a sudden 3 days prior to the deadline, those 3 days are very intense and serious. And that the one
Yeah,
day,
like
what it was the day before that, it was like a 14, 15 hour day,
16.
16-hour day. So it's like, come on, guys. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, and the
Like I
thing
said,
that
the
bothers
owners don't care.
the
They
thing
will
was,
sit back on their hands. They don't give a
Was there
fuck.
oh,
8 teams, right?
100%.
It's
Something like that. There's like 8 teams, the owners who were against, who were okay with, canceling these games. They came with
really read too much.
I saw a list
I
on
didn't see
Twitter.
that. What bothers
After
me
it
more
got
than
canceled,
anything is
I
like,
was
as much as like it was heating up this and that, like all this, at the end of the day, it was a unanimous decline by the PA. So that's where they are, unanimously decline after all that. Like,
That's smug look.
like I
of-
said, I think that they've got kind of their one win. They're one out of big 5 things, like I said. That's the contract. They're probably looking for another 2 more things at least before they start agreeing to start the season.
and I think it
Into
was
the
like,
owners stuff.
and goes back into what I said about like you don't see this in other sports. I think it's since like 1981, or I don't know if it's all baseball or since 1981. I saw this, is the MLB has had 9 work stoppages like in their.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I know we had one.
I think it was since 1981. I could be wrong on that, but I want to say it was 1981. We've had 9. That's insane. Like, I can't remember one in the NFL really at all. I know there was one in the NHL because
There wasn't like lockouts. It was just this one and then like the 95
it's work
lockout.
stoppages.
Well,
though.
the one that happened a couple of years ago was not because like it was in danger of it. It was just that they were meeting and talking again, but they ended up agreeing on it. I forgot how it was. It wasn't that long ago. I mean, nothing happened. Nothing was in danger or anything. There was just talks of possibly it happening, but they ended up coming to agreements on some terms. And I remember that was a few years ago.
I guess, I
So
mean, there's been a strike. There was a strike in 1981, 85. There's a lockout in 90, 94, 95. There was a strike. And then today's lockout. Like, not every single one was, like, led to missed games. But there's been a bunch of lockout. Or I guess it was since 1972, it looks like one.
and that's
Yeah, it
crazy
was
to
9
me.
since 1972. There's been 9 either strike stoppages or lockouts. Not every single one would cause missed games, but this one is up to 92 total games. Like, if you add them all up, 92 games have been canceled already. It's a joke, yeah. Well, one thing that I know that Manfred said in his press conference that we can maybe talk about is some of the rule changes I think they had accepted. I don't know when they'll be implemented, but if we just want to kind of talk about our thoughts on them, like, we'll go down the list. The ones that I know. So the first one I saw is that universal DH will be.
I was always for that.
Coming back. I agree with you. I think they did it the COVID year, right? That was when they did. It was the 60-game season.
I thought it always helped NL pitchers with like, an extra strike, a couple strikeouts a game, stuff like that.
And listen, I mean, there's pitchers out there. People think of, Mad Bum that can hit. Jacob DeGrom was a pretty good hitter last year, but like,
Yeah, Chad. I mean, come on now. Can't when you got guys like Mad Bum, Arrieta, they're not easy. Easy Ks.
It's no,
right
I
now, let's see how many strikeouts they have and how many.
Right now, John Lester. Right now, Mad Bum's like pouting. He's like,
I remember who did it for the Sox last year. I think it was like Cease or something that hit like 4. It was like 4 for 4 or something.
Yeah, he had a good game. Yeah, I remember that. No, but like,
no, I mean, still, it's not. Pitchers are there to pitch. They're not there to hit. Let the DH.
And you risk injury.
There's plenty of DHs.
Like, you like as good as a hitter. As good as a hitter, DeGrom was like, if you look at his hitting stats last year, like he was like legitimately good, consistently good. So the thing that's like, but like, dude, you really want to risk him getting hurt out there? Like a guy who already has his injury history as it is, because he's hitting. Like,
and another thing is teams in the NL did not have to pay for an extra player. So teams in the AL looked for DHs. You paid for Nelson Cruz. You paid for.
And I mean, I think that's another thing that is kind of nice for the players is, guys like Cruz, all of a sudden, like every time they would go into free agents or trades. Yeah, every time they would go into free agents or trades, their rosters are, okay, these are the 15 teams that like are my options here because I can't field. Now, that doubles. You get better offers maybe. You might have an offer that wasn't there before that you can get more money or maybe somewhere nicer you'd like to live. I know like a lot of the bigger cities, LA or California, there's AL and NL teams, so that's not as much. But there's places that only have one team.
I
So
mean, you got like the AL, it's kind of hard to pick and choose because if you're a free agent as a DH in the AL and it's just strictly AL teams, you have pretty slim pickings of you want to go to a playoff team.
mhm.
So what teams already have
Well,
DHs? You
especially a
got
guy
like the
like
Red
Cruz,
Sox,
yeah.
they
Like
got
even
they got
even younger
JD,
even younger
Yankees
guys
have
maybe.
guys.
I mean, I can't think of any off the top, but like for example, if they introduce a universal DH this year, I know like one thing for me as a Cubs fan is, oh, I want Rizzo back, and obviously he's first. Like he can't really play anywhere other than first, and we have Schwindel now, who, as we said, or like we were kind of talking throughout the week, saying some of these guys like Wisdom and Schwindel for us Cubs fans was. We don't know. They had good years, but they're older rookies, so you don't know. Like, is this going to be something they can do consistently? Like, are they going to be able to repeat this kind of performance next year?
Mhm.
But to get a guy like Rizzo, if they implemented the universal DH, it'd be nice. You could have Rizzo first, Schwindel could DH. You'd have like those kind of options. It gives managers in the NL more like strategy that they can use. Like, oh, I can give this. You could give this guy like a half rest day. Like, you won't make him play the field today. He'll just hit for us. Like stuff like that you couldn't do in the NL. It's nothing new. Like, because it's always been
Mhm.
around. It's just only been in one league, so it's not like it'll be brand new for them. And they had a little bit of
Yeah.
experience with it in the COVID year, but I'm
You
I'm
gotta make
I'm definitely for
sure
it.
you got a true DH player though, because I mean you can't just slide anybody in DH and expect them to do anything about it. I'm not saying you would, but let's say like a guy like I don't know, fucking like Trey Turner. Let's say he's dealing with something, but he could still hit, right? I don't know. Like you just don't want like DH is like also a mental thing too. Like you're hitting and then you go back to the dugout
Yeah,
and you're
100%.
just
I mean,
you're just
baseball's a
chilling.
very mental game as
And
well.
so with DH now, it's going to be interesting because, for instances, when it was like, you had bases loaded or a guy in first and second, two out, and all of a sudden here comes the pitcher, and you're like, oh, well, what a
Yeah,
waste.
or it would be like you know, you have a guy on third or whatever, third like on the corners. There's two outs and you're at the eighth header. Walk him. Fuck it. Why
Yeah.
not? The pitcher's up
And
next. You know
then
what I
and
mean?
then if your pitcher's throwing a good game, that's the manager's decision on keeping him in
Right.
and
And
trying
if
to get a lead or
let's say that happened in the
comeback or
third inning.
something, but
Let's say that
take him
happened in the
out.
third inning. Right. It's a 0-0 game. Your pitcher's dominating. Now the bases are loaded with two outs and your pitcher's up. So, I mean, it's
It takes away a little bit of the small ball, like if there was a guy on first or second and they bunted him over and shit like that. I mean, you can still
mhm.
do that with anybody, but it does, I mean, I'm all for this, obviously, but
Yeah. I
it
mean, you
takes
look
away
at
that
that.
kind of stuff.
You look at the AL in the past. So and Chad, I'm sure would know more because you watch Sox games a lot. AL team, like I'm sure there's plenty of stuff like that, even with uh
Small ball and
yeah,
AL.
some small ball
Yeah.
like small ball stuff like that. Like I know
Yeah.
Chad was even
It's
saying
all
last week he
over.
enjoys small ball. Um, but like I know, like I think back to those good Cubs teams in 2016. It's like, oh man, when Schwarber tore his ACL in the beginning of the year, and he was only back for the Indians games, like when they were in Cleveland.
Away. Yeah.
Um, like had there been a DH then, it could have had him all series. I mean, obviously it ended up working out, but it's just stuff like that. Like it definitely gives you
It'll be interesting.
options. Yeah.
Well, then
Especially
one more final point on this is just for a Sox standpoint with Abreu, that dude wants to play every game. If he does get benched, he goes to play DH. So his bat's not out of the lineup, but he gets a rest day from playing in the
Mm-hmm.
field. So that's something else that could help NL teams is just if a guy needs a day off from the field, doesn't have to use his legs as much,
I think that's huge
he gets to
for,
relax. So
especially for like middle infield and outfielders. Like I know for first base and catchers, especially catchers. Because for first base, obviously, like you look at a lot of the guys who play all year long. It's a lot of first basemen just because it's not as taxing. A lot of catchers when they can't do it anymore will go to first base. So I think like having the DH is really helps you, especially particularly in the outfield, middle infield, and catcher, giving your guys like the day off and more physically demanding fielding positions. So yeah, I
I
definitely
mean,
agree. Like, look, who's somebody who could end up like, I mean, he's kind of because he hasn't. Christian Yelich could end up being a guy like in a couple years who's more of a DH because he's never been a great fielder. You know, he's gonna get old eventually. Like those are
Eloy.
guys.
Bellinger.
Yeah, but I'm saying guys in the NL right now
Yeah,
that you look
Eloy
at like that
is-
would have
he
to
wants
maybe
to play
move
the
on.
field.
Yeah, he does.
But
Say that for next week's podcast,
here's the thing:
please.
is that it gives these free agents more of a freedom.
Choose
You know,
whatever
like
they wanna
especially
play.
100%.
the these GMs who
They
are
can
looking
make more
for
money because of it too.
GM could go out and get an extra player that they don't need just because we have DH now. Like you can get
His
if you're
name's Jock Peterson.
It's another spot you got to fill.
hey, I'll
Oh, hey,
welcome.
Soler.
Oh no, God no, please. No,
I'm not saying the Cubs. I'm just saying in general for teams.
Ryan's a huge Jorge Soler fan.
No, that's the fact that he's got a ring is mind blowing to me.
I'm just saying though, you got
No, I
guys
get
like
it.
Jock who shows
I
up in
get
the
it.
playoffs. You're gonna
Right.
pay him.
No, I know.
He's gonna
He's a
get
good
paid.
lefty. Like it.
Yeah,
I'm good,
I
but
know.
another one that they mentioned was the banning of shifting. So, me personally, I kind of like it. I like the
Like the ban or like the shift.
I don't like shifting. Like
I
I
like
like
the banning of the shift. Okay.
I think you could do it to an extent. Like I think the second baseman should be able to play anywhere he wants on that side of the bag. But like I don't like when everyone is coming to literally one side of the field. I just think it's stupid. It's not. I don't know. I think it just takes away from the game.
I mean, my points on that is like
I get it. Don't get me wrong.
Infielders need to stay in the infield.
You could have limited too.
I did
Limited amount of shifts a game.
think before about having like, you get like 3 shifts or something like that, or 2 shifts. I don't know, that one's kind of difficult to go through. But then again,
but like you said,
go ahead.
Like you said, the thing I didn't mention was the thing about them staying in the infield. I think as a fan, the most frustrating, and not even just for against my team, the most frustrating thing to see is a guy line what would be a base hit into the shallow outfield, and there's just a guy there. Like that's just stupid.
Yeah,
like that shouldn't happen. That's beer league stuff. That's stuff you'll see in our softball league. Like, well, guys will play in weird spots. That shouldn't be happening at the highest level.
And obviously, as a hitter from their perspective, and like obviously me playing baseball, I know him personally. You hit a ball like that, you hit a rope, it feels good, and then you get robbed by a shift. But then my other point with banning shifts that are good, or like shifts in general, just having them, people are always like, "Oh, hit the opposite way." And yeah, I do agree that every hitter should, be able to hit to all sides of the field. But there are hitters that aren't like that.
Joey
and if
Gallo
pitchers
comes
are
to
gonna,
mind.
just say like, if you're an inside hitter and pitchers are gonna pitch you there, that's the pitcher's fault.
I mean,
You
Ryan
can't blame the hitter for that.
Ryan knows a lot
But then
about
if
that.
he's jamming you inside all the time, do you know how hard it is to hit oppo? That is a special skill.
Right.
And to do it consistently before they stop shifting on you that's going to take so many hits, and you're just going to start popping up and striking out, and just
these guys are at the highest level. These pitchers know how to pitch to play to their defense. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you can bunt, and you'll see a couple times every year where there will be no one over there. Whoever
Rizzo does it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he'll bunt down that third base line, and it's just like a simple bunt turns into a double sometimes because of that. But it's just, I don't know. I don't like the shift. I don't think they should be like, all right, you have to stand right here. You can't move until the pitch is out type stuff. No. Like, I think you should definitely be able to move. I think going into the outfield is stupid, like you said. I don't like that.
Yeah, I think going back like the shift,
but there should be a limit to it.
Yeah, like a shortstop or second baseman, even at third baseman, because obviously you're not going to move the first baseman. So third base and shortstop need to stay on the left side of the bag, and second base, same thing on that side. They can't go on the other side. If they do, then I don't know what kind of penalty you can really make. But
yeah, you'd have to maybe like review it and like.
His foot was on the other side. It's almost like an offsides in soccer kind of thing.
Right, I don't know how that's interesting. Like, would that almost be like a ball?
It's like a catcher interference. No, I think it's a catcher interference.
Like they get to the first base bag kind of thing.
Yeah, they get a free first base.
That's what I would think too.
Because
you got to think like it probably would have been.
It'd be like fielder interference, I guess they could call
it. You have to make it something like that because say they did it something minor, right? The punishment was something minor, like you know, a redo of the pitch.
Redo
They
at
would
bat or
just they would
something.
they if you're a shortstop and you know, okay, if I do this, it's a redo of the pitch. But if I play here right here, I'll stop. This is a base. You know, you see it's going to be a base hit, and you play somewhere you shouldn't. You just save the
Yeah,
base hit. And now they have to redo the pitch over. Like that plays in your favor. So it's got
I
to be
agree.
something like you said. Like they get to go to first, something like that.
So with MLB banning the shifts, does that mean they're going to ban it in softball as well? Or I would really appreciate that coming from a lefty. So
Yeah, all hear is Bobby fucking whistling. His little fucking whistles to Steve.
this is not don't mean to go off topic here, but I was
Bobby
just
would be a catcher yelling to the outfielders.
I was scrolling on Twitter here.
Mhm.
Chris Olave just ran a 4.26 on his 40.
Oh, Chris Olave?
Yeah.
Oh, the future saint.
Is that fast?
The future saint.
Yeah,
It's like Michael Scott. I'm fast. I'm very fast.
Very fast.
like Usain Bolt or what?
Yeah, that's a future saint right
Yeah.
there.
I don't know. Him and
Ugh.
Justin Fields are gonna look good together. I don't know.
Who? Him and who?
Justin Fields, you know.
Wait, where are you guys at in the draft?
No, we don't have a first round. We have a second
Oh,
round.
sorry.
But it's all right. We'll trade up. Just kidding.
Unfortunately, Kenny
Again?
Pickett's been like up there for the Saints.
You're
Which
trading all your picks until the new stadium's built.
Hey,
I'm fine with getting Chris Olave.
Get Arlington Heights.
I'll take Chris Olave.
Yeah. All right. So off topic, but
To
yeah.
get back on
just had to see
topic
that.
here.
The other one was a pitch clock.
Yeah, that's a.
I'm 50-50 on it.
That's for people who are bored of
But
the
then
game.
again, like, because like for me, when I pitched, I like a quick rhythm. That's how I was. Some of these guys take, holy shit, throw the ball, bro. This is why
And
And
baseball's
I think that's
boring.
what it's for. Like, think about that, and think about us, right? We are, avid watchers of baseball. We're not the new fans. We like to watch baseball for what it is. And even you,
Yeah.
for example, are having that reaction of like, dude, throw the fucking ball. So imagine a new fan who, like, the stigma is already baseball is boring.
Yeah.
So you have a guy like that. It's like, oh, he's taking a sweet ass time. I think if you look at it in that perspective,
I guess I'm
think
not
it makes
really
sense.
against it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I just think obviously, just like anything, you have to figure out where's the medium of where you're going to time it, because you can't make the clock like ridiculously like move it along, because then it's like you're giving them no time to situate. Pitching's hard. It's really hard. Hitting's hard, and like you got to give them enough time. But I do
gotta speed
definitely
up the
think
game.
I think there should be some kind of
Yeah,
time limit on it.
I was the same way when I pitched probably up until my sophomore year of high school, and I was just
I was gonna make a joke.
let's hear it. What are you gonna make?
No, go ahead. I thought you were gonna say like fucking minor B in Little League.
Yeah, I pitched all the way up till about when I was like 8 years
Ratings.
old.
Yeah,
But like
12.
I was the same way as like
Oh,
I got the ball, and sometimes the batter would be like I'm fixing his shit. I'm like, dude, let's go. Like, get in the fucking
Like,
box.
what are you fucking scared? I
think-
mean, as a hitter, I do it on purpose to slow him his rhythm off. But
Yeah, fuck with them. Yeah, no, especially since they're trying to get new fans and stuff like that, and that's something they really need to work on. Well, one, obviously they're shooting themselves in the foot with this whole lockout nonsense. So this is horrible for baseball, but I think the pitch clock is a good thing. I'd be interested to see. I know they tested in AAA. I don't know like what the research was out on that, but if they do eventually implement it, I would like to see how pace of play was affected after the year's over. Like compare that to other years. See
that makes sense.
how long was the average game. Like that'd be an interesting thing to see. Like would it like because there is a scenario where it's like, yeah, pace of play was pretty much the same. Games lasted about 2 minutes shorter. Like there's that chance that people were going at that speed anyway. But there's the chance too where it's like, wow, games are 20 minutes shorter on average. So that'd be cool
I
to
wonder if I'll have to look back for next week's podcast on with the whole 3 batter minimum, like how much that improved play,
see.
or how like time wise.
Was
stuff.
that now going back?
I'll
Is
look at
that and obviously now we've had experience, and since we're talking about this kind of stuff, is that something? Let's go. Were you for it to begin with, and are you for it now?
Yes.
Pitch clock?
No, the 3 batter minimum.
And my thing is because you shouldn't have pitchers your staff should not be built around, oh, I can strike out this one guy, but I'm not good against the opposite side of the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I know as
you're
a
a
Cubs
professional
fan,
pitcher, you should be able to pitch to both sides, and it is what it is, and that's the situation you're in.
one thing like
I
I kind of
mean,
liked it when they first introduced it because I'm pretty sure Madden was still the manager for the Cubs at the time, and I think everyone kind of knows he would have a tendency to overmanage, and I don't know.
well,
I
they're the
think
reason for 2 rules, but go on. I'll name
yeah,
the other one in
yeah.
a sec.
He like I like the thing of you have to face 3 batters. I do think it's stupid. Like a guy could come in as a specialist, literally throw one pitch and that's it. Like you get him out, gets him out of one pitch. All right, that's all we needed from you. I do think that's stupid. I think you have to be a little bit seasoned to pitch 3 batters or whatever. And if you truly want to be the best of your, you want to be considered the best, one of the best relievers, one of the best to your position. There's going to be righties and lefties in baseball that you're going to have to face. So you should have to face, 3 batters.
And hey, this next generation is going to be filled with switch hitters. So, good luck.
Yeah.
People like
Although I will
Franco
say
and,
there's some switch hitters that
trying to
probably
think of
should
other.
stick to one side of the plate. But
Well,
Yeah, but I'm just saying that from a pitcher standpoint, if they struggle against righties or lefties or whatever, then the pitchers are kind of screwed.
What pitchers are going to do now is when they're up to if there's a lefty up, then they'll just switch gloves.
right.
And
So
they'll throw lefty.
Actually, that is a rule that the pitcher has to establish first.
I know.
To go off topic again, I happened to see on Twitter literally right after a lobby ran a 426, Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor ran a 4.21. New
That's a record,
40
isn't
record.
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
40 record. 4.21. That's nuts.
Dude, 4.21, man.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got? A bunch of Tyreek Hills in this draft class? Jesus Christ.
Zooming all over the map. Well, I actually saw just really quick before we get back on topic. I saw a thing is one of the podcasts I was listening to, a guy said a lot of younger guys are starting to go more to be more receivers. Like a lot of players want to be receivers now. So I think what he was kind of saying is in the future, you're going to be seeing crazy wide receiver talent in the NFL.
Fast. As long as you're big and they got hands, that's all that matters.
I mean, hands and
fast.
speed are huge.
So you mentioned
Get back on topic here.
the one rule with Madden. Do you know what the other rule that the Cubs were at fault for bringing in?
I can't think about it off the top of my head. Oh, the meetings.
The meetings, the mound visits. Because
I
would watch so many freaking Cubs games.
That's another one
and
that
see
I like.
Contreras just every other inning or
now,
even the same inning.
I wonder.
Holy shit, dude!
That's another thing. I'm sure they have the numbers. I just don't want to look for them right now. What was the difference pace of play between having a limit on the mound visits as opposed to not? I wonder what that was. But
you've signed for
I
a
like
reason.
that too. I like that too.
I think that was all the only rules
that's
that were left.
That's kind of all the rule changes that I saw. Did we maybe let's do these? I know we were talking about the division predictions. We could do.
That's fine.
Just want to preface it before we do it by saying we aren't doing win totals and predicting this team's gonna get 98 wins, because as it stands right now, we don't know how many games are even going to be played. So it's tough. We can
100-game season. This team's getting 100 wins.
Yeah, right. 100-0. So, and then obviously once the season gets more, established, hopefully soon, hopefully at all at this point. Once things are settled, this is all over with. We actually have a season we can look at. Then we could probably do more in-depth ratings. This free agents will probably be signed by then. Teams might change, so we'll definitely go through it more. But I think we'll start. We'll just go down the list here. If we want to start with the AL East, who wanted to kick us off?
That's a tough division.
I'm gonna go.
That's probably the toughest division to kind of predict right now.
What moves did Toronto make this year?
Well, they lost Simeon.
They lost Simeon.
Ray.
They lost Ray.
I'm gonna go. Hold on, let me look at these standings.
But they re-signed Barrios. Did they get Gosman?
Yes.
Okay, so they lost Ray but got Gosman. To be honest with you,
I'm gonna go Tampa again.
Yeah,
Wander Franco. I mean, it's between Tampa and Boston.
I would say let Ryan do his 5.
yeah. Do
and
your
then
5 in
we
order,
kinda
and then
go.
we'll go.
In a wait, 5 like
Like
division,
rank
each
them, like
division.
1, 2, 3,
No,
4, and
like
5.
Rays,
Like put them in
Sox,
order. How you think
Yankees,
it's gonna go?
Blue Jays, Orioles.
Oh, I go okay. Well, all right, I'm gonna go. It's not gonna be. I'm gonna go Tampa. This might be a little shocking. Tampa, Boston, Toronto, New York, Baltimore.
Wow. Fuck
I
the
think I
Yankees.
think I think
Yankees in
Toronto.
4th, huh?
And I'm not saying it's gonna sound bad. Like
That's
fourth.
current roster though.
Here's the
True.
thing: fourth, as them sounding like me picking them fourth is like, oh my god. But it's gonna be so tight of a division. They're gonna be in 4th place, is what I mean.
They were only 1 game from being in 4th place too.
Yeah,
They're
so
all
that's what
over
I
90
I mean,
wins.
look at Boston last year. They were the wild card team, and they did some damage
That's
at the
yeah.
playoffs.
I think that's what I feel. I think Toronto's gonna have a really good
Yankees are
year.
wild card too, but
Yeah, but I think wasn't Boston underneath them, or am I wrong?
no, they were above them.
Oh, okay.
Tampa
They
and
beat
like
them head to head.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yep.
I actually do not. Your 5 is actually what I kind of had. Orioles, I thought about bringing them up, but
It's too hard. Like
Over
where,
who?
why? For like, where would they?
I don't know. I'm just like,
Like maybe they bring up
they got
Rushman.
Rushman, and then he has a good
Yeah, but
season.
it's
But then it's like they got pitching. They don't got.
hitting.
I mean, Mullins is their only other really hitter. Mountcastle.
Trey Mancini.
I know,
I
but is
like
that a
that.
fluke or was that?
No, he's had some good years. I mean,
Toronto.
he's never been
Yeah.
a stud,
All
but
right, in the end, they still don't have pitching. I should put
oh,
it that way.
yeah.
Mullins, you don't know if he's gonna have the same year he did. Obviously, rookie year. So Rushman,
Yeah.
you don't know what he'd do if he does come up, which I think he's gonna.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, I think as of right now, I would have Yankees 4th, but they're gonna sign someone to where I would probably flip them in the Blue Jays.
yeah. We'll have to see. Like that's a tough thing too. Is I'm kind of going current roster right now. So current roster, I could see the Blue Jays making a move that like really propels them. But if I'm going by current roster right now, I'm going Rays, Boston, Yankees, Blue Jays, and Orioles. Now I could definitely see the Blue Jays making a move for a pitcher. That's my problem with the Blue Jays is I just don't feel they have enough pitching right now. Like I know they got Gosman, but they have Barrios, so they have 2 pretty solid guys. But they did lose Robbie
Ryu.
Ray, Ryu. The thing that scares me about
Oh, you
him
know what?
is his health.
Let me redo mine. I'm gonna
Go
put
ahead.
Blue Jays 2nd,
Blue Jays 2nd.
and I'll tell my reason why after you keep
Okay.
explaining.
The Rays are just like so well run every year. They're one of the like lowest teams in terms of like salary or whatever. They don't have that much money as compared to other teams, which is kind of embarrassing to the Yankees considering the Yankees are the pinnacle of that, and they keep losing to them every year. But I think that it's gonna go. Like you said, man, it's tough. Like I like how I just put it there. I had Blue Jays in 4th. I could easily see the Blue Jays in 2nd. Like it is definitely a tight division, but I'll stick with Rays, Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays,
Don't they,
Orioles. For that.
who's that rookie pitcher they got this year?
Manoa.
Yes.
That's why I was gonna say I'm putting them 2nd because he's gonna be a big.
He should have a good lead.
He's a sleeper.
I like the Blue Jays.
They got a good
do
rotation.
Well. They're young.
I don't think Gosman will have as good as a year.
I mean, it's gonna hurt.
I mean, losing Robbie Ray, yeah, that hurts. But
I don't know. I feel like Robbie.
I
Ray's
still think
lefty.
their offense has so much power. I think
they did lose Simeon too. They lost Simeon
could
too.
Stay healthy too.
Well, Springer's gonna be healthy. They got Biggio, who was hurt. He didn't really have a great year, anyways.
You have Vlad. You have Bo.
Vlad, and then you got who'd you say?
Bo Bichette.
Oh, yeah, Bo.
And
Yeah,
then, but
that's the
you do
other
have to look at it though. Marcus Semien was 3rd in MVP voting last year, and he's gone. Like, he was huge for them last year. So
they're probably gonna move Biggio to 2nd, right? Or are they gonna?
Yeah, Biggio probably
not
go to
going
2nd.
to produce at that point. I don't think, at least offensively.
I think that I'm gonna leave him at 2nd until I see what the Yankees and Red Sox do. But I still think the Blue Jays get someone, and I don't know who they're gonna get.
Yeah, the Yankees. I mean, there are still some names out there, and they could get one of them.
You know who could be a fit for the Blue Jays is Chris Bryant.
I would like to see him.
Third
I
base-
like the
third
Blue Jays.
base
I would like to
outfield.
see him in Toronto.
That'd be
I'd
interesting.
Very, very interesting.
All right,
Who we doing
next
next?
we have
I'll go.
the AL Central, which is like the opposite
So
of
I'm
the
gonna
AL East.
go Detroit,
Don't you fucking start.
Cleveland. No, just kidding. Detroit, Cleveland. Can't. No, just kidding. Obviously, I mean, to be honest with you, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go White Sox. White Sox, Detroit,
Baez.
Cleveland,
Hmm.
Minnesota, Kansas City.
Mm.
Or you know what? Kansas City, Minnesota. Minnesota last.
So you just flipped Detroit and Cleveland
So it's gonna
from last
go.
year's standings.
Yes, I think Detroit towards the end of last year was having a really good season. They got some really good prospects. I like Zach Short. They got Baez. They might, I mean, I'm not gonna say he's a threat anymore, but he's still a big guy in the lineup, Miguel Cabrera. Um, but I
Purdue.
think they got a good coach,
Who's that
and
other guy that plays first?
uh,
Dope.
yeah. I mean, they don't remind me of a Toronto team, but they're like a team that's up and coming that is eventually going to be. I feel like if their prospects pan out, especially Zach Short, I really like that guy. So, but that's yeah. I mean, that's kind of it was almost like a no brainer. But I'm gonna go with Detroit being second because they've been in the hole for a while. I like to see them come up a little bit.
Yeah, you're not too far off what I would do if you want to go Anthony.
So if I would go, I'd probably have the White Sox first. I think I would go Cleveland second. Although I will preface it with saying I could see them moving pieces at the deadline because they seem to want to trade away all their good players. They're just. I think Cleveland's too talented right now. As much as I do think Detroit is on the up and coming, Cleveland still got Shane Bieber, still have Jose Ramirez, so I'll have them second. I'm gonna go Detroit third, Royals fourth, Twins fifth for me.
Man, Twins really took a fucking like they were crashed
Yeah,
2 years
I
ago,
always
right?
wanted to put
Or
Kansas City higher, but I don't know.
Oh, they're kind of right there with the Tigers, couple prospects,
Hmm.
and
But like, is
Merrifield.
Salvi gonna be able to put up as big of a numbers as he did last year? Because he was insane.
yeah, they all got him.
Woody.
Yeah, he kind of led that team. Woody, Mondesi.
I wonder if Woody will get traded this year. Finally,
They got a couple pitchers.
the Cubs.
Personally, obviously, Sox first. I do have Detroit second. I'm gonna put the Royals third, and I think the Indians and Twins will actually be tied for last, record wise. But I would have Indians over them in head to head games. I think the Indians end up trading Ramirez,
Yeah, and that's my
so
thing
I
is I think
think
they're
they
gonna
kind
trade
of tank
Ramirez as
there.
well.
Their pitching staff, they got Plesac, McKenzie,
Bieber.
They got a
Bieber.
good
Who?
pitching staff.
All right, yeah, I think Bieber might even get traded.
That'd be insane.
Man,
But yeah, I
Indians
think
fans would be
they might just
pissed.
tank because right now they're not. Detroit and Kansas City have prospects. Twins, they're tanking. I think Indians need to kind of follow. Sorry, I'm reading ESPN. They still have Indians.
no,
The
you're good. I think we
Guardians
all said Indians.
Yeah, I
um
mean,
should follow the Twins path.
they're gonna be just an all pitching team. I mean, they're not gonna have any offense, Cleveland. So
Except for Jose Ramirez.
except for Jose Ramirez,
All
they
right,
have that one rookie
And who
too,
knows if he even has a good season?
let's see.
I
right?
mean, he usually
All
does,
right, so
but
now AL
the West.
West, which
Um,
is a very interesting division.
I'm gonna
Rangers got a
go.
lot better. Mariners might be getting better.
Yeah, honestly,
There's
this one's gonna be pretty easy for me. I think it's gonna be Houston, Seattle, Texas, Oakland, LA.
um
Hmm,
That's mine.
mine. So I think
hmm.
I'll base this off right now because I think that there's going to be some signings by probably more than one team in this division. Maybe, um, once this lockout's over. But as it stands right now, I'm going to go Houston, Texas, Seattle, LA, Oakland. because I think Oakland is going to move Matt Olson.
Who'd you have in last? Oakland, Brian?
Oakland. Oh, he had LA.
I had LA.
That's tough.
I don't see them going.
I think
anywhere.
Oakland does. I think Oakland will be last.
Yeah, I think they're going to fall.
I
I think they're going to trade some guys.
Especially if Seattle gets Chris Bryant.
But that's the thing I'm looking at too. Like my prediction last week was that Trevor Story goes to the Angels. Like that happens. Shit. Mike Trout's
Houston
healthy.
are gonna lose Correa, but they're gonna gain Verlander.
Yeah.
Do they still come in first? Yes. Houston first. Seattle got Robbie
Houston's
Ray.
too loaded, too experienced.
They got Jordan.
Even with the loss of Correa,
they might get Rodon.
Think of how many years, Chad, that Correa got hurt, and they still you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of those guys were hurt, Altuve and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and they still
managed. Houston first. I would say Seattle. They're gonna add another key piece. Yes.
Maybe.
I want to say Rangers, but I'm gonna go LA. They get Trout. Texas, yes, they got key pieces, but I don't think they have the pitching.
They're not there yet, no.
Dane Dunning ain't gonna get them anywhere. I mean, who else do they got? I don't even know who's their starting rotation. That's how bad they are. The Rangers.
Well,
so I'd have Rangers 4.
They got somebody, didn't they?
Sign his pitcher?
Yeah, they got one pitcher. Oh my god.
They signed a free agent. I can't remember who they did though.
It's gonna kill me because it's gonna be something obvious.
They got Semien, Seager, and
they got another player, didn't they?
Calhoun, and they got a pitcher.
Do they still?
John Gray.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's much. I don't know. I
still have
a pretty big proponent of. I think him outside of.
So you're gonna say
interesting.
Semien, Seager, Calhoun, and John Gray. Get them an extra. I mean, what spot are you putting them in third? An extra 27 games on the other 3 teams? That's a lot of games. I don't think they might get like 15 to 20, but I still don't think they have the pitching. They don't really have relief. I mean, they got a solid lineup. Lefa, and then the guys I just named.
Oh, Detroit got Eduardo Rodriguez too. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Also, we did forget if we want to go back to the East really quick, Glasnow. He ain't gonna be pitching. So that hurts.
The Angels signed Thor. Forgot about that. I mean, he'll be coming off of injury.
Yeah, but he did last year a little too, though, didn't he? At least he has some pitching under him. Glasnow's done until like playoffs, I think. Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. I think we have a pretty similar,
which one are we doing
prediction
here?
for these.
Start out
NL East.
NL East.
Ooh, well, I mean, is Freeman gonna be there?
Dude, it's
I was gonna say current roster, but he ain't on the current roster, bitch.
Technically not.
Well, I can tell you who's in last place, and it's gonna be Washington. Miami. Honestly, the way it's set up now is probably. I mean, I would flip maybe Philly and the Mets.
I think it's different for who's at the top for you.
Atlanta.
Like for me, at the top, it's the Mets. That's different for everyone.
Because I'm looking at last year's right now.
Oh.
So I'm going at I don't know. I mean,
I'm looking at it too.
The bottom 2 feeders are Miami and Washington, in my opinion. I mean, Miami has been
Does Soto stay in Washington?
Even if he does, that team's trash.
They lost Jeter. Maybe.
Yeah.
Lost Turner. They lost Scherzer.
Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what? The way it is for me, I'm gonna leave it at Atlanta, Philly, Mets. I think Philly has a bounce back year. Bryce Harper. They were supposed to be a really good team, Philly, and they were overrated. But I'm gonna leave it as Atlanta, Philly, Mets, Miami, Washington. Well, yeah, I'm gonna leave Washington as last, especially if they lose Soto.
I'll change it just a little bit. I'm gonna go Atlanta. I'm gonna go the Mets. Got Scherzer. and I think Lindor is going to bounce back. Phillies, Nats, and then Marlins, I think, will be my 5.
I'm gonna go Phillies. Phillies win the division. I think I would say Atlanta's second just because they're gonna get Acuna back,
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yeah, he is. He'll be back.
And then New York will be close behind. And I think they probably get a wild card spot.
I think I think the top 3 teams in that
Actually,
division
no,
are going to
don't.
make the playoffs.
Actually, no. No, they won't.
That'll be one of my predictions.
Um,
One of the top 3 teams in that division are going to make the playoffs. Mets, Phillies, Braves. All 3 of them are going to make the playoffs, I think. As it stands.
no way.
It's 6 teams right now. I don't know, like, who impresses
Division
you?
winners and then
Like, look at the
there's
NL
3
West.
wild card. Is that what you're saying? Oh yeah,
It's 6, isn't it?
no,
Am
it's
I
2
wrong
wild
about that,
card.
or is it 5? How many playoff teams were there last year? 10 or 12?
2, 3.
Well,
I know they
wild
proposed a
card.
14
There's
team.
5. There's 2 wild cards.
Yeah, I think they're going to be both the wild
There's
cards.
1 division winner and then 2 wild cards.
I guess maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. I definitely 2. I know they proposed
Yeah,
a
I can see
14 team
that.
thing.
Even that's kind of close, but yeah, I'll say Phillies, Braves, Mets, Miami, Washington.
All right, and then the Central.
um.
You can go.
All right, so I'm gonna go. St. Louis, Milwaukee, Cubs, Cincy, and Pittsburgh. I think, especially with Cincy losing Castellanos.
Probably, yeah.
So, and I don't think the Cubs are going to be like, they're just going to be like a 500 team, if that, maybe a little bit below 500 this year. So,
Yeah, especially if they sign Correa.
Well, yeah, if they sign Correa, then I might take them over Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I don't really.
See,
Milwaukee's that team that I don't know.
So I can
but
kind of give you mine then. I'm a little bit on the opposite end. I think I have Milwaukee at number 1. I have St. Louis 2, Cubs 3, Reds 4, Pirates 5. My reasoning for the Brewers at 1, I think Yelich can't be as bad as he was last year again. I think their pitching they just have such a good pitching staff and bullpen between Woodruff and Burns and Hader, Devin
Who's that other guy they
Williams.
had? Is that who it was?
The reliever
like-
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Devin
It was
Williams. Yeah. And I think they just have guys who they don't have great hitters, but they got guys who can hit. Keston Hiura. So
Yeah,
for
not
that
in the
reason,
playoffs
I like the
last year.
Brewers. Just off of pitching, I like the Brewers over the Cardinals.
Plus they got Adames.
The Cardinals have a lot of more star
late
power.
addition.
Yeah. They have Paul Goldschmidt and, Arenado. So, but I don't know.
Yeah,
The pitching for the
second
Brewers
years-
is just what puts me over the edge.
I think that's what I had. I would Cincinnati's. I think them and the Cubs are gonna be close record wise, but
Yeah, I could
think
agree.
Cubs
I
probably
think,
top
and
them
then
since they're probably gonna get someone.
especially if Cincinnati starts trading off pieces,
Mhm.
Luis Castillo, they still have Sonny Gray, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So,
Are they gonna tank again?
well, if they lose Castellanos,
I mean, they got a promising young rookie, Jonathan India, just won Rookie of the Year.
well,
so.
they also have Hunter Green, but he won't be up for a while.
So you say that was yours, Chad? Kinda?
Yeah, I just second yours.
All right.
I think the Cubs and Reds will be close, but I think Cubs.
NL
probably have
West. So I actually think the Padres are going to have a big bounce back year. I'm going to take the Padres to win the West, and then I'm going to go Dodgers, Giants, Diamondbacks, Rockies. I think the Rockies are going to be the worst team in baseball this year.
Diamondbacks.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. Giants and Diamondbacks is a toss up for me, just because the Giants are losing. I feel like they're losing. They lost Gosman. They're probably going to lose Bryant.
You're saying Giants are gonna be the worst team?
No. I think I have the Giants at 3. I have
Rockets.
Padres, Dodgers, Giants, Diamondbacks, and then Rockies. I think the Rockies will be the worst team in baseball. They already were terrible. They lost John Gray. They're probably going to lose Trevor Story. Like, There's
Yeah,
some
I can see that. I
buns.
can see them
I
being
know.
up there as far
The
as one of the worst
Diamondbacks
teams.
are pretty bad.
Yeah, but I feel like they at least have some piece. I don't know. They have
They
Ketel
traded
Marte. They have Ketel Marte. They have Zach Gallen. They have some guy like
traded
who the fuck is on the Rockies anymore? There, Herman Marquez. Like
Blackman.
Jesus, yeah, that guy's a fossil.
He should probably get traded in though.
Dude, he opted in. Well, here's the problem: is his contract is terrible, and he opted into his last year because it's like a shitload of money that he's not worth anymore.
He's smart.
Herman Marquez is like the only good player on that team.
Yeah, I mean, yours are not. Yours is pretty similar to mine, except I'm just flipping L.A. I'm making
Padres,
L.A.
yeah.
L.A. San Diego, San Fran, and then
I have LA bias in mine. I'm tired of them winning. Although
well,
shit, I mean they're gonna
me
get
too.
Bauer. I mean they lost Scherzer, but they're gonna get
They're getting
Bauer
Bauer
back.
back.
So
Well,
Oh,
unless they
Seager.
re-sign him, you think they're gonna re-sign Scherzer?
Scherzer signed with the Mets.
Oh, that's
The
right.
Mets.
Duh.
But I mean, the Dodgers, man, they might come out of nowhere and sign one of these guys that are still available, like a Chris Bryant or. I'm not saying they are, but you never know. It's fucking. There's two teams that I'll never bet
They had
against
a
signing a
career.
free.
I mean, Turner had a good year, like a really good year.
There are
so
two
you expect
teams
him to
that
be
are
good.
who. It doesn't matter what position they're in. They're
They
always
lose
in for the
Kershaw.
player. They're always in for the player. And that's the Yankees and the Dodgers. No matter what player it is, they're always in for him, no matter what, it seems. So that's mine, though.
I mean, you're not. Dodgers are still a great team.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
I mean,
Turner had the same year.
Kershaw's gonna stay. Not like he's a stud anymore, but I think Kershaw stays.
Bellinger was awful last year. We'll see if he can bounce back.
Yeah, I don't think Giants win the division. Obviously.
No, not anymore. No one saw them coming out last year like that. So
Padres is an interesting one because you don't know. You're gonna move Tatis to the outfield. I mean, you got Cronenworth.
It's tough.
You're gonna trade. Are you still Frazier? They got Frazier. Adam Frazier.
yeah. I mean, unless they are getting rid of him, but yeah,
I think so.
He sucked that second half.
He was bad
with the Padres.
Yeah, I think they talked about possibly moving him moving him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Dodgers, Padres, Giants, Rockies, Diamondbacks. I just think. Sorry, my buddy Ryan Weiss. I just think your team is bad.
Well, until he comes up, but yeah.
Well, obviously we'll have more of like
straight gas.
Once like the season's situated, free agents are signed. We'll do this again, and we'll have a much more clear picture on what's going to happen here. But
yeah, we'll have trades. We'll have a set of games that we can base actual records off. And
right.
But that stuff.
That'll probably do it for us here in this episode. Yeah, all baseball except for a little bit of combine interruptions by me and Ryan. Well, good to talk about. Hopefully next week. I know we said this last week. We get on here, so we should be recording next Thursday. So it should be that day that they are getting together officially. Hopefully we'll have some better news. But until then, be sure to like and share. Follow us on all our socials. All links are down below. Comment some feedback in our comment section below if there's anything you want us to talk about. If there's anything,
let us know your predictions for each stand or each league. Name the winners of each division.
And we've been more active on especially our TikToks and our Instagram page, so be sure to check those out as well. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening, and hope you have a great weekend. Have a good one.